guys, how's it going? I'm Cindy from PhoneDog.com, and this is a Samsung Smiley from T-Mobile. It's a basic messaging phone, and I'm going to do a full review for you guys. Now, to be honest, I have received more questions, requests, comments about the Samsung Smiley than any other phone I've done probably, which is surprising. Something about the phone, people just want to know about it. They're excited about it. So I'm going to do an overview and a review for you guys. Now I'm going to say, just right off the bat that I'm not impressed with the phone. And that's saying something because, I mostly do feature phone reviews. I mean, I do test out smartphones. I've used them. I've done reviews on them. But mostly I deal with feature phones. And so if I'm not impressed with the phone, there's something wrong with it. So I'm gonna talk about that and show you the features that I didn't really like about it, and then let you guys decide maybe those things don't bother you as much. But anyway, Samsung Smiley from T-Mobile. I'm Cindy from PhoneDog.com. Let's go check it out. So it's kind of hard whenever you start out a phone review like that, because from here on out you're kind of just waiting forever for all the bad notes. But there are a couple of good things about the phone, and to be honest, the things that bothered me, they might not be features that you use too much. So we're still going to go through the review. I'll show you the pros and cons of each feature, things that I found to be a little bit annoying but that might not bother you too much. But I don't want you to think that you should just write it off. I personally really couldn't get used to this device and didn't really like it. But we'll start off just hardware-wise. I talked about how it is small, and it doesn't feel too cheap. I mean, it feels, like a good solid device, but it does look pretty cheap. I talked about the buttons. They look sort of like a demo unit at a store, how the buttons aren't real. They're just sort of the flat ones that don't really do anything, and you can tell that it's a demo unit. You can tell it's not a real phone, and that's what these buttons look like, and I think that's just a design flaw, and maybe it's something that only I notice, but it is something that right off the bat I noticed that it made it look pretty cheap. But anyway, other than that, it's pretty basic. On the right side, you have your dedicated camera key. This is the charging port, as well as the headphone jack, the port for the headphone set, which doesn't come in the box, but it's micro USB, and I don't think, I may be wrong about this, but I don't think I've seen, at least recently, a phone where the headphone jack was micro USB. We've seen it proprietary, we've seen 2.5mm, but I've never seen it where it's micro USB, and so that's, to me, kind of a major design flaw, because those definitely aren't very common if you want to buy those. And then you have the volume rocker switch, micro SD card. The phone itself has only 80 megs of memory, so if you're going to use music or anything, you probably want to get your own micro USB card, micro SD card for memory. And then the keyboard. Now the keyboard, it really isn't too bad. I think they've gotten pretty good with messaging keyboards these days. It's nice and rubbery. The keys are flatter than I've seen on other keyboards. But it's not too bad. It was pretty easy to type on. You have plenty of shortcut keys, including the equal sign, which I have no idea. I mean, yeah, you might use it sometimes, but someone actually brought out in the comments for the other video that you could use that for the as a smiley face. Instead of using the colon, you could use the equal sign and then the parentheses. So I guess, maybe that's what it's for. But the keyboard is pretty good. I'll get into more whenever I talk about the messaging. But so just going into the menu is set up a little bit differently. Now, in the unboxing, it was a carousel, and so all of these icons kind of rotated in a circle. I took that off because it was just a little bit annoying to me, so you can see you do have that feature. But you notice the colors are really basic. It's just black and white. You have a little bit of color whenever you go to that icon, but it's mostly just a lot of black. And see, if we go to messaging, you'll notice again just black, and then the blue, create a message, again just black. So I don't like that, and you can't change that. There are very few customization features with this phone. You can't change the color. I don't believe you can change the font. Basically, the only thing I could find that I could change was just this menu. I could change it from being a carousel to just being a regular grid. Also, obviously, you saw you can change the wallpaper background, which is pretty standard. But other than that, you can't change any colors, and I don't like that because I don't like the black. I mean, to me, it's kind of depressing. Looks like a phone from the 90s. So, again, that's something that bothered me. You'll notice here you have basic text messaging. You also have email. I set up my email, both of my email accounts with this phone, and I'm going to tell you it's a nightmare. I'm not going to go to it because it has my email addresses, but it's a nightmare trying to get an email, download an email, and then trying to read it. For some reason it wouldn't let me, and I had to download it, and then I had to do something else to be able to read it, and even then I couldn't read it. So the email, I mean, maybe I just was doing it wrong, but it definitely didn't work very well. I will say one, sort of cool feature, if you go to messaging here, you'll notice there's these little icons down at the bottom, and this is where you can add a picture, you can take a picture and then add it to the message, you can add video, so there is video recording, or video capture, you can add sound, or you can record a sound. So I think that's kind of nifty, kind of an easy way to add pictures or add videos to your messages. Now, going on with the screen, I talked a little bit earlier about video capture. It does have a 1.3 megapixel camera with a self-portrait mirror. A couple other features, has a smile detection, night mode, timer. It does have a zoom, and you can capture video. So we'll go over to the camera interface. There's a dedicated camera button. There's really not a lot of editing features, which is something that I think whenever you have a basic, 1.3 megapixel camera, I think a lot of times they make up for it by having some pretty cool editing features, but there aren't really with this phone. Not only that, but this is sort of annoying to me that everything is laid out as if you had it in landscape mode, and I might not want to use it like that, I mean, I might want to use it whenever I'm editing or whenever I'm taking a picture. I might want to use it in portrait mode and then say, after I take it, I don't like having the keyboard out. Say I want to close it and do my editing or sending from there. Well, if you close it, it goes away. Even if you were to have taken a picture, if I were to take a picture, it would still go away when I'm just looking at the still image. Now, let me go back. We'll talk more in depth about the messaging. I'm just jumping all over the place here. I think it's raining outside, and so I'm a little bit offbeat. I'm not really in the zone right now, but anyway, so I'm sure you care about my life massively. But anyway, so we'll get into the keyboard, talk a little bit more about it. You'll notice you have the number pad here, so if you want to do just basic dialing, it's right there. Also, you've got all of your shortcut keys. So you have the at, number sign, quotation mark, apostrophe, colon. So you have all of those. You use Alt to get to them. A little different. Usually it's function, but you use Alt. So then you have symbol to get to secondary keys. You have the emoticon key right there. One thing that I thought was sort of weird, if we go to, see, I hate how it does that. You can actually change that to where it doesn't automatically lock. But anyway, so if you go to messaging, it does have the emoticon key. A weird thing is that it doesn't have just the basic smiley face with the colon and then the parenthesis. It only has this one with the little nose, I guess, which a lot of people use that, but a lot of people don't. I personally don't use that one, and so I'm looking all over for, we have all of these emoticons, but it doesn't have just a basic smiley face, which is weird because on the box it's a basic smiley face. So I don't know, I guess they didn't want to use that one, or they figure you can just add that one yourself because you do have the colon and the parenthesis. But again, there's just weird things about this phone that don't make any sense, and you're like, what were you thinking? And that's, to me, was just one of the things that got on my nerves. I mean, I don't like the black background and I want to change it, but I can't. And I'm just like, why not? I mean, why can't I change that? Or how the camera, it's automatically in, all the text is in horizontal mode. I mean, what if I don't want to do it in horizontal mode? It's just, or an equal sign, or the smiley face. I mean, there's just some things that it doesn't really kind of adapt to you. You have to adapt to all these, you know, I guess not necessarily new, but just little things that you have to change. Talk a little bit about the battery. It has a 1,000 milliamp hour battery. There's a speakerphone, or the speakerphone grill right there. It has a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, and I'm just going to leave that on there. And so, you know, according to estimates from T-Mobile and Samsung, you're going to get about 5.5 hours of talk time and 300 hours of standby time. I think that sounds a little bit mediocre. It sounds like they could have done better, but in my test, it lasted about a day and a half, which is pretty standard. So the estimates were a little bit low, but in testing, it actually did last a while, and that was with doing basic messaging and, again, like I said, checking my email. So that's basically it, guys. Hopefully I, you know, said enough about details of things that sort of got on my nerves that you may have to get used to. It's up to you guys, and you know, there it is. It's a Samsung Smiley. It comes in only one color, in black, which is so apropos for a phone that has so little customizing features. You can only get it in one color. Black, I don't know what it is. I guess they like black. The phone is black. All the menus are black. I mean, I have nothing against the color. I just, you know, sometimes I like a little brighter, happy color, which is why I changed the background to make it a little brighter, a little happier. I mean, it is a Samsung Smiley, so I don't know. But it's available now from T-Mobile for $20. And so you guys can go check it out. I mean, a lot of people have been asking me about this, so apparently there's something about it that you guys like. And there it is. You can see that. It does have a basic web browser. I didn't go into too much with that because it's just a basic browser, and on feature phones it's never the greatest. But you are going to get 3G speeds with this phone and with T-Mobile's network. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, you can send me a message on Twitter, or I'll always be in the forums on phonedog.com. I'll be hanging out there, so just leave a message there and I'll try to answer any questions that you guys have. But other than that, thanks guys for watching. I'm Sydney from phonedog.com. Be sure and check out phonedog.com for all the news, updates, and reviews. But thanks guys for watching. I'm Sydney, and I'll see you guys later.